fell off the stage?
He see that, like, my previous face-off or anything like that, he know that I stand in front of my opponent. So he try to beat me. And he forgot that he was so close off the stage. I mean, so close to the stage, like falling off. He was just right there. And the way he was just standing, he was standing like he had like, he was like not a fighter type stuff. He was just like, so I just like, I ain't.
Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach got into a wild face-off earlier today ahead of their upcoming rematch. Things quickly got out of hand when Davis suddenly shoved Roach, sparking serious tension. Roach looked ready to swing back, but security rushed in just in time to break it up.
Respect for each other. Like I said, we done bumped into each other plenty of times. More than the average boxer would see another boxer outside of boxing. So.
As expected, the trash talk was non-stop before things turned physical. Lamont Roach mocked Gervonta Davis about his hair, telling him to get it fixed early so he wouldn't end up taking another knee. Davis fired back, but Roach kept pushing, even joking that Tank should bring his mom to the fight like he did last time, since Roach planned to bring his own. The back and forth kept escalating until Davis finally snapped and shoved Roach. While the scene was intense, many boxing fans actually enjoyed seeing someone finally get under Gervonta Davis's skin.
Oh, whoa. That's when he tried biting me. I ain't even noticed that till somebody said something. Somebody said he tried to bite me. I ain't know none of that shit till somebody said that shit after the fight. And look, they talking about it.
Oh, whoa. Here's another comparison I don't want to make to Mike Tyson, but
Now that's crazy. That's what he do. He get dirty. He know that heat coming.
Did he bite you? Did he try to bite you? This is probably like, after the post-presser. We was in the locker room. My father told me, he was like, man, he tried to bite you. I'm like, nuh-uh, I'm in the ring. That's something that you would know happened. You're like, what's going on with you? You tripping? I don't remember that. I'm like, I got punched a few times, but I ain't crazy. Nah, he really tried to bite you. I'm like, how you know? Show me. He couldn't pull it up. But when I went back and watched the fight, because I wasn't even thinking about it no more. It's probably like a day later. I seen it, I was like, that's what he talking about? And then you can hear Ronaldo say, compare him to Mike Tyson with some bite.
The face-off was part of the media build-up leading to their rematch, which is set to happen in 2 months. With their first big press conference just weeks away, tensions are already running high. One fan commented, "Tank's getting exactly what he deserves from Lamont Roach. I just hope Lamont doesn't lose focus before the rematch." Another fan wrote, "When the intimidator becomes intimidated, the roles flip. I'm glad Roach isn't falling for Tank's bullying." A third added, "I hope Roach pushes Tank's buttons enough to light a fire in him. Tank needs to make him pay for all this. Roach is acting like a clown now. There's definitely some mind games at play." Still, many fans believe the bigger issue is Gervonta Davis's lack of motivation. After all, he recently admitted this could be his final year in boxing, fueling talk that his passion for the sport is fading.
Are you retiring?
What changed? What made you?
It's trash, garbage.
If you got the opportunity to sign a prospect for GTD, who will be?
This fading hunger to truly prioritize the fans and the art of boxing has always been a knock against Gervonta Davis for some fans. And now, that criticism feels more justified than ever. Still, not everyone sees his possible retirement in a negative light. One supporter said, "Health is wealth. His style isn't built for a long career." It's a fair point. Many boxers deal with serious health problems after retirement, from constant headaches to nerve damage like sciatica. With Davis's fast-paced, aggressive fighting style, he's just as likely to face those long-term effects if he keeps pushing his body.
Frank Martin press conference, it looked like you were like, the talks about retirement was not even discussed at this moment, and now it's something you keep on repeating. Is it just because obviously...
Aside from Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis has yet to face the top names in the lightweight division. With growing pressure to take on elite opponents like Shakur Stevenson, fans are starting to question his legacy. If he keeps avoiding those big matchups, he risks losing the support and excitement that once surrounded his name.
What was going through your mind when you heard the decision?
nobody like a draw, you know, from a guy that get knockouts and things like that. But it's cool. I feel like if we fight again, I could do more, and I should have did more. I was lost in I lost track in the rounds. That's why we need what is it called? Yeah, man.
Gervonta Davis is one of boxing's most explosive punchers, having stopped 28 of his 30 opponents so far. With that kind of knockout power, he's not just a dangerous fighter. He's a certified pay-per-view star, a major ticket seller, and widely recognized as one of the top pound-for-pound talents in the sport today.
If you got a talent, the money gonna come for sure. So I wouldn't even tell them to focus on the money. Like, if your talent there.
Gervonta Tank Davis is gearing up for his 31st pro fight on March 1st, where he'll face Lamont Roach, a current super featherweight world champion and someone he once clashed with in the amateurs. Davis beat Roach twice back then, though Roach still believes at least one of those losses came from bad judging. While some question Davis's motivation lately, those close to him know how deep his passion runs. His coach once shared that Tank was moved to tears watching Adrian Broner fight in Vegas, saying it lit a fire in him to chase greatness. Since 2014, Davis has racked up knockout after knockout, with Isaac Cruz being the only opponent to take him the distance.
Yes, you know what? Don't let me knock him out now. One of the biggest upsets in boxing. I mean, tell me, Coach. Go ahead.
I like Lamont Roach and his team, you know.
Before knocking out Hector Luis Garcia in his last fight, Gervonta Davis reportedly asked his team for both regular and sour Skittles as a pre-fight snack. Tank has also stopped Frank Martin and Ryan Garcia in recent bouts. Interestingly, Lamont Roach beat Garcia by split decision, making Garcia the only common opponent between Davis and Roach. In their 2023 matchup, Davis stopped Garcia in the 9th round. Since then, Garcia's record has shifted to 16 wins and 2 losses, though he was undefeated when he faced Davis.
The whole Roach team, man. Again, I will not go hard with the team like I do everybody else because, you know, we've been around each other for years, and his uncle Boogaloo Roach was a nice guy.
As the week of their first press conference approaches, where they'll meet face-to-face for the first time, the tension has already spilled over into a live video showdown. What stood out most during Lamont Roach's clash with Gervonta Davis was how calm and unshaken Roach remained. Unlike Frank Martin, who showed clear fear and doubt before his fight, Roach was quick to fire back at every attempt Davis made to intimidate him. In fact, Roach was the one who stirred most of the conflict, pushing Davis until Tank finally unleashed his fierce side. Still, Roach never backed down.
I don't really have him really like mapped out, but it's just like, you know.
Anyone in mind that you're thinking about after Roach?
Nah, not yet. I'm just trying to focus on him right now. And then once we get him out the way, then...
Many who watched the clash think Lamont Roach's calm came from knowing Gervonta Davis well. They faced each other twice before in the amateurs, with Davis winning both times. This history seems to give Roach confidence, even though Davis currently holds the edge in their past meetings.
Right now, and then once we get him out the way, then we can, you know.
Speaking of other title holders in the division, we know you were close to the Lomachenko fight. Shakur Stevenson is another title holder in the division. Shakur and Schofield are fighting. What are your thoughts on that fight?
No thoughts.
I'll be in the face of boxing. Weren't able to make the grand arrivals yesterday. I know sometimes like Canelo, I'm sure he doesn't want to go to the arrival, doesn't want to talk to us and all our...
After his win over Frank Martin a few months back, Gervonta Davis named several fighters he wanted to face next. But interestingly, none of those names seemed like Lamont Roach's. Roach, who isn't even in the lightweight division, somehow made it onto that list and even positioned himself as Davis's next opponent. How that happened, and whether it was planned, remains unclear.
Going on like combat sports, the sports spirit, because the NBA is they in the finals and things like that. Just everything. I feel as though I'm excited to be a part of everything that's going on. Just to be here today, fighting in the MGM, putting on, you know what I mean, a great event. You know what I mean? I'm just.
Thank you, guys.
Tank, who you got in the finals? Who you got in the finals?
We got more to do. We got more to do, guys.
I don't know. Right, Dallas.
You got Dallas?
Gervonta Davis, 29, is back in the spotlight amid rumors about his next fight, with plans to face super featherweight champ Lamont Roach. Terrence Crawford recently shared his thoughts on the heated matchup between Davis and Roach Jr. from March 1st. Their fight in New York ended in a majority decision draw, though many felt Roach had done enough to win. Adding to the controversy was a moment in the 9th round when Davis took a knee and rushed to his corner for his face to be wiped, but it wasn't ruled a knockdown, sparking a fierce debate over whether it should have counted.
He would never even think about to come up to 154.
All right, what about 47 though?
Yes, if he get to pick his opponent. But Tank would never come from 35 to 54.
Y'all got into it on social media around that time. Is that just you being competitive, like when that happens, or is it like...
I just really don't like that dude.
Why though?
Cause I just don't like him. Like I really don't like him. That's like
just not your cup of tea. That's just not your.
I don't like nothing about him.
If that moment had been ruled a knockdown, Roach Jr. would have taken the fight outright. Terrence Crawford was one of the few voices who believed Roach won back in March. Now, over a month later, the two-weight undisputed champ appeared on the Ring Champs with AK and Bar Eric podcast, sharing some honest thoughts about the Baltimore fighter. Crawford said, "I still had Roach winning, probably by 1 or 2 rounds." He added that the fight was close but felt Tank Davis was overly confident, which affected how the match played out. "I think Tank underestimated him and expected Roach to fight his usual way, looking for a knockout," Crawford explained.
Tank would never even think about to come up to 154.
All right, what about 47 though?
Yes, if he get to pick his opponent. But Tank would never come from 35 to 54.
Y'all got into it on social media around that time. Is that just you being competitive, like when that happens, or is it like...
I just really don't like that dude.
Why though?
Cause I just don't like him. Like I really don't like him. That's like
just not your cup of tea. That's just not your.
I don't like none.
The 37-year-old Crawford explained that Gervonta Davis often trails on the scorecards, but still comes out on top thanks to his knockout power. "I've always said Tank is losing until he's not," he said, pointing to fights against Leo Santa Cruz, Raleigh, and even Ryan Garcia, where his opponents were doing well early on. When asked if Davis depends too much on his power, Crawford didn't hesitate. "I do. That reliance on knockouts means if Davis can't finish the fight early, he risks losing by decision."
And then don't retire. How realistic is this?
It's real.
Has it changed? Have you have you had any thoughts like, maybe I was tripping a bit?
Yeah, I do be having those thoughts.
Yeah.
But it's also too, I want to get myself together though.
Which is much more important.
Yeah, I really want to get myself together, like not retire, but take a break, But the only thing is, well, I ain't gonna lie. I already made a promise.
But the big question is, does Crawford believe Roach Jr. can win this time? Originally, their rematch was set for June 21st, according to Sports Illustrated's Chris Mannix. However, the fight was pushed back to August 16th in Las Vegas. While the exact venue hasn't been confirmed yet, it's expected to be either the T-Mobile Arena or MGM Grand Garden Arena. Ahead of the rematch, Crawford shared his prediction on the same podcast. Even though he supported Roach Jr. in their first fight, he doesn't think the Reaper will come out on top in the second.
It's an owl, like we out of it type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I can stick around and I will help people and guide people, but as far as like me competing, I don't really want to do it. It's like other stuff I need to work on, being more there for my kids, going to school, just building myself up as a person.
"I think you'll see a sharper Tank this time, but Roach already fought at his best," Crawford said. "I don't think he can do any better than that." While Crawford still believes Roach Jr. won their first fight, he feels the rematch could go to Gervonta Davis. Davis's rival, Rolando Romero, agrees. When asked about a Davis-Roach rematch, Romero said, "I'd pick Tank because I think he'll make the right adjustments to win this time."
I truly but that also didn't seem like just Tank in general, and
so is that Lamont or Tank's fault?
And I will tell you this, Tank, I know for a fact, was sparring a 122 pounder, and that was the only person he sparred all camp. Literally all camp that he sparred a 122 pounder.
Was he tall at least?
No, he's shorter than Tank.
Bro.
Or him and Tank same height. Like I said, Tank wasn't really training.
that people want to discredit Tank. He's still a pound for pound fighter.
Yeah. What do you think about that fight that happened? You thought it was just an off night, or
everybody has an off night? Everybody has an off.
Romero, who Davis knocked out in the 6th round of their lightweight title fight in March 2022 at Barclays Center, isn't sure who really won the 12-round battle between Davis and Roach on Saturday night for the WBA 135-pound title. He respects Roach and praised his performance against Davis. However, Romero believes Davis will learn from the mistakes he made that night and come back stronger after training hard in the gym. Speaking to the ring ahead of his own May 2nd fight against Ryan Garcia in Times Square, Romero said, Lamont Roach surprised everyone in the boxing world that day.
I had a night with Cruz. Everyone has a nice boxing.
You want to run that back with Cruz or what?
Maybe down the line.
He's a fighter, bro. He's a really good fighter, man, dude. He beat Hector Garcia, and then he took the belt from him, and he came up, and I know he's a lot more durable and stronger at 135,
He's also seen Tank the most in previous fights before.
Like they already had 2 fights, right?
Yeah, so that's...
With the rematch drawing closer, Ryan Garcia hasn't held back on his prediction, adding more hype to the fight. In an interview with ES News, Garcia said, "I got Tank. I think he'll shift into a different gear this time. He probably thought it would be easier and that Roach would fold, but Roach didn't. Now Tank should expect a tougher fight, and I believe he'll win the rematch." Garcia's take, coming from his own experience with Davis, adds an interesting angle to the matchup. He believes Davis underestimated Roach in their first fight and will come back with more intensity and focus in the next one.
Figured if anybody
2 fights.
Tank and Roach, they fought twice before in the amateurs.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, they had history and they sparred a good amount of times apparently and all that stuff. Yeah, but
so you think a rematch? Do you think this remotivated Tank? And do you think a rematch Tank just goes in and wins that fight?
I don't know, bro. We gotta see. We gotta see what like if it was a Tank tag.
Ryan Garcia's prediction for the rematch between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach has sparked lively debate among boxing fans. With excitement building around the fight, Garcia's take, shaped by his own battles with Davis, adds an extra layer of interest. It seems like many of Davis's past opponents are backing him to win, almost to protect their own reputations. They know if Roach pulls off a win, it could make them look like fighters who couldn't beat someone they considered beatable.
From what I've seen in the fight, I thought Lamont won, and I think the commission does need to do something with that knee, because if they don't, then all of us are going to think we could take a knee anytime we want. They got to do something about it. I mean, they did something about me, you got to do something about other people. Rules are rules, right?
Right.
It's just, I like Tank though, personally, but a rule is a rule. You can't go and take a knee and then just expect not to be a knockdown. You can't get away with it, stuff like that.
When you say 1 foot in boxing and 1 foot out.
Yeah.
Roy Jones Jr., widely regarded as one of boxing's all-time greats, recently shared his thoughts on the upcoming rematch between the lightweight stars. Speaking to pro boxing fans, Jones praised Lamont Roach, saying he believes Roach will shock the world again. However, he also admitted that Gervonta Davis will make the necessary adjustments to come back stronger and dominate the fight this time around.
Is it like such a small boxing world that you know what he's really doing?
No, but I mean, from what he said, obviously, I want to retire.
Right.
His demeanor, it's like he don't really want to box no more. Telling people don't box, kids, you shouldn't box, So it's kind of like he don't really love it no more, You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that will mess you up, because in a fight, you got to be all the way in. Because when problems, rise in the ring, even if it's a little problem, you got to be ready to snap it in the butt.
Do you think that might light a fire under him?
I think Roach will shock the world again, Roy Jones Jr. said, but this time Tank will come with a different mindset, a new attitude, personality, and motivation. Roach will perform well, but I believe Tank will be more dominant. The fight, originally scheduled for June, has been moved to mid-August, giving both fighters plenty of time to get ready for what could be the biggest night in their careers.
Potential fight this year, how do you see it going? I ain't gonna really think about that yet because I'm waiting after he finishes this fight with Roach. Roach is not just your average everyday opponent. Roach is a person who knows Tank, who's been around Tank his whole life. This is a different fight. You can't put Roach to the side like that. I'm sorry. Now, I'm not saying that he's gonna win the fight. I don't know that, but Roach cannot be this underrated like that. You understand? You gotta understand that Roach came from basically the same ecosystem as Tank came from.
boxing star Devin Haney and his father and trainer Bill Haney will definitely be watching closely ahead of the rematch. In an April 18th interview on the Cigar Talk podcast, Bill Haney issued a clear warning to Lamont Roach before his second fight with Tank. "Lamont, get to work now," he said. "Stop talking so much. Have your dad sit down and talk with you. That's how we do it. Devin's focused on training, and I'm handling the talking. So Lamont, get busy, man, get busy." He also added, "It's going to be another great fight."
And finally, I wanted to get your thoughts on the Gervonta Tank Davis situation. What was your assessment on his fight against Lamont Roach, and what are your thoughts on the knockdown that wasn't called in round 9?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good fight overall. Lamont, I always knew Lamont was, he wasn't coming to lay down. I've been knowing Lamont since we was kids, so we came up in amateurs together. So I knew Lamont was serious. He was coming in there to fight, but he did a lot better than.
That's it for now. For the latest news, highlights, and everything happening in the boxing world, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss out on fresh content like this. Until next time, take care.